The Footy Show was one of the longest running television shows in Australia. From 1994 to May of 2019, it was the premier AFL talk show that did everything from analyse the games to what it was probably most well known for, in just having fun. So how did a show that dominated TV, even when Channel 9 didn't have the AFL rights, fall off so quickly to the point that it's coming up on 5 years with it not being a feature on Thursday nights? Its initial success in hindsight was always coming. Eddie Maguire was the first host of the show and was joined by Sam Newman and comedian Trevor Marmalade. With them would normally be 3 AFL players ranging from Jason Dunstall, Gary Lyon, Doug Hawkins and Jason Ackermanis. The general football talk and preview of the upcoming games was a big part of the show, but didn't make it. The witty and sarcastic comedy of Sam Newman made him incredibly popular and equally hated, while Trevor's humour in his behind the bar role was a fair bit lighter and more football based. Throw in clever segments like Almost Football Legends, which showcased local football highlights, The Wheel, where Brownless would travel to clubs and whatever landed on the wheel they would get, and of course, one of the most infamous segments on all of television, Street Talk, in which Sam and sometimes other guests would visit a specific suburb or town and roam the streets. All this combined to make a dominating sports show. Now, I don't know how much weight you put in the TV awards, but it was nominated for the Logie Award for Most Popular Sports Program each year between 1996 to 98 and 2000 to 2018. For the 90s and early 2000s, the humour of the show matched the time period perfectly. By 2006, Eddie Maguire had become CEO of the Nine Network, leaving his role as the show's host. It was time for a freshen up, and in came James Brayshaw, Gary Lyon, while Trevor Marmalade didn't have his contract renewed, making way for Billy Brownless, Shane Crawford and Matthew Lloyd, who all had regular rotations on the program. At the end of 2006, Channel 9 also had lost the TV rights to the AFL, but it didn't matter. The show was just as popular as it had ever been, but it was between 2007 and 2018 that the changing of times and controversies caught up with the show. No doubt the chemistry between the 3 main panel members and other star guests was fantastic. The comedic skits, general banter and personalities were so strong that it sometimes felt the show wasn't even talking about the state of football. It almost seemed football was just the base used to build anything funny or a little controversial on. One example is the Big Bill House, an obvious parody on Big Brother, in which the panel members, over a variety of the show's seasons, went into a studio house and completed challenges. It had nothing to do with football, but was hilarious. It was around 2015 that the big decline began. One man can be a wrecking ball on the field, and off it was Sam Newman. It's the classic depiction of the saying you either love them or loathe them. The list of controversial acts could be a whole video in itself, but from the use of blackface, making fun of Nicky Winmar, hitting David Schwartz with a pie, and groping a cardboard cutout of Caroline Wilson, it paints a picture of his TV career. And of course there is Street Talk, in which some believe Newman went around essentially making fun of intellectually handicapped people and showing specific places in a negative light. Whether you believe any of his antics were funny or low blows is up to you, but as we know, societal expectations do change. In the 90s to mid-2000s, Newman's comedic skill and personality matched the public. Those controversial acts I mentioned before were far more accepted at the time period he did them than they would be now. He also became far more political on air, whether it was referring to Caitlyn Jenner as a he or it on TV, saying Adam Goodes was provoking people after getting booed, or having a general rant against the AFL Commission, who at the time supported same-sex marriage, we can all see where he was heading. The on-air character, who had little care and did whatever he thought was funny, was now battling a TV world that was far more woke and progressive than he was. By 2018, he had lost that battle and left the show. The off-air relationship between Gary Lyon and Billy Brownless was also a big factor. Both were part of the magnificent rapport everyone had, but in 2015, when Brownless split up with his wife of 18 years, everything changed. His wife left and entered a relationship with Lyon, fracturing a key dynamic. Brownless said, "You think she'll come back and all that, but she didn't, so that was a real kick in the guts. But then, about a year later, she shacked up with one of my good mates, and he's in the media too." In February 2016, Lyon took indefinite leave from the program as he dealt with depression. The whole event was very public and front page news for all to see. And like in the AFL itself, you can't play forever. There is always someone younger, faster and fitter waiting in the wings. So who would have thought a little 10-minute segment on Channel 7 would become the biggest AFL show on TV? In 2017, Channel 7 took a punt and launched full 1-hour episodes of The Front Bar. Andy Marr was host, with comedians Mick Malloy and Sam Pang the other parts of the panel. I'm sure most of you have seen it and know it's a great show. The humour is far more tame than anything the Footy Show did, but still pushes the envelope a little. The interviews with current and former players are great, and it does have the general feel of a few guys sitting around a bar having a fun chat about football. It matches the TV audience right now the same way the Footy Show did in the 2000s. By the end of 2017, the Channel 7 program was beating the Footy Show in ratings and did so increasingly until 2019. Its final few years had a variety of shifts. Craig Hutchinson and Rebecca Madden came in as hosts, but it was clear straight away the original charisma and charm of the show had vanished. It tried to change with the times, but the impact of the show had diminished. Maguire came back in 2018 after replacing Hutchinson, but at that season's end, Sam Newman was out, while the ever-evolving cast of players never could get any television chemistry set. The final shot was in 2019 with a full cast revamp including Dylan Alcott, Anthony Lehman and Neroli Meadows. The ratings dropped from 193,000 viewers to just 96,000 in the space of a week. It was official, the Footy Show was dead. AFL journalist Mike Sheehan at the time said, "Two things Channel 9 have done wrong. They kept the name of the Footy Show. It's not the Footy Show as we know it," he said on SEN Breakfast. And they put it head to head with the best new TV show in years, The Front Bar. The Footy Show, it died. This is a new show, and if you were going to have a Footy Show in any incarnation at all, you should have put it on at a different time. No one polarizes opinion more than Sam Newman. Lots of people love his style. He's gone. Gary's gone, and James Brayshaw is gone. That's why it should never have been called The Footy Show, Sheehan said. Everything is a finite life. I never missed it for the first 15 years, but it's run its race. It was a slow but predictable decline for the show. Parts of it just involved TV changing, while other parts involved some forms of self-destruction. All that's really left is a Sunday Footy Show, which has cut out a nice niche for itself. It's far more analytical than the original Thursday night show, but the type of humour used is a bit similar, although tamed down and very much between the hosts and no one else. For such an iconic show, it does seem to be forgotten how big of an impact it had, and that at the time it was revolutionary for the AFL to have a great TV show to go alongside the games.